All right, we're live, but we're a little late, running a little behind. But you know, I'm acting presidential. What could I say? If you paid attention to the news the other day, you saw that the president, like a groundhog, came out of his den to see if he still had a shadow. A lot of speculation, a lot of rumors that he had shuffled loose this mortal coil. And when waiting for that press conference yesterday at 2 p.m., the president actually made people wait like 43 minutes or something. So, in honor of acting presidential, I figured I'd be very late to my own live stream today. Welcome, I'm Rob. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We got to get to 1 million subscribers, folks. And I can't do it without you. I need your help. The way you help is you press that little button right there. Thank you. Do newsmentary. I'm your official vibe guru. I say vibe coach sometimes. You might hear they're interchangeable. There are no regulations like at Joe Rogan's comedy spaceship. We keep it loose. We play loose and fast over here, okay? So I'm Rob, your official vibe guru. And this is the Rob Hood Vision Quest. I heard if you title your podcast something like Vision Quest or Experience and you have a third eye, but then call people crazy for believing in ghosts, you'll get $100 million from Spotify. So I'm really trying that. Hey, Daniel Elk, the Swedish, Norwegian, Scandinavian Spotify CEO, I'm right here. Check out my Vision Quest. I don't know if we have a Have You Even Said Thank You segment to do today, but we're going to get into some meme news. There's a lot to go over, so make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I know that 108% of you are not subscribed while watching. So we got to fix that, okay? We got to fix that. And if you're going to say, oh, what are you, woke? I'll order this book for you. We're as woke as they come here. We don't believe that this is why this is good in America. We see the problem. Nurses paying a tax rate of 22%. Old Jeffrey Bezos with his space cowboy Bezos. I bet that's what he makes his friends call him. He says, I need you to address me as space cowboy Bezos. He pays a true percent rate of 1% if he pays at all. I mean, if he can hide it in those Panamanian papers or whatever, he won't pay. And Netflix paid 1.1% on 5.3. Is that a B or a T? Trillion or as soon as it's going to be a K, a cajillion. They paid 1.1% on billions in profits. So that's what's wrong with America. Also, this is what's wrong with America. A lot of people voted for this creep, but they got duped. They were like, oh, you said you'll make egg price go down? And they clapped for him. And then he was like, he got your vote. And he was like, I can't do that. That's a complex thing that the president has no control over whatsoever. He didn't, though, talk about how it's corporations just making some scarcity happen. Corporations were like, oh, yeah, there's a bird flu. We can't sell you eggs. And they were like throwing the eggs away or hiding them somewhere illicit. And then just price gouging, under the cover of inflation. Yeah, they voted for this guy. Why isn't this an NFT? That's what I'd like to know. Does anybody know how to make the fungibles? I want to make fungible tokens. Never mind non-fungibles. Like, that was so 2022. I'm going to come up, the year 2026, in the year of our Lord 2026, I'm going to come up with fungible tokens where it looks like it's online, but it's in your hand. Is that what fungible means? So Gary, what's his name? Gary V. The V stands for grift. Gary V, if you're watching, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, but reach out. I don't know, I know you do Busy Bee. You do these real basic drawings and grift your audience for millions of dollars. But I got an idea. We call it Grossy Dawn. Dirty Diaper Dawn, Groomer Groin Gramps, and we'll draw it and we'll fungible token it. So welcome. But there's a lot to go over, folks. A lot. He didn't shuffle loose this mortal coil. I have proof. I have audio. I promised you I was going to put on my AI detecting glasses. Okay. We're gonna put on AI detecting glasses, and we're gonna see what we can see. These aren't the ones I showed you the other day. I'm hoping it's a new audience, so you can't hold me accountable. But I do. I have AI detecting glasses, and we're gonna see. And one thing I could tell you is, holy Christ, is that where the new space center is going? Right there in that plowed out area? Holy Jesus! And what's up with the Dennis the Menace cowlick? What's up with? Is it called the cowlick? Cowlick? Is it called the cowlick? Like a cow licked you? But yeah, he's alive. But I'll tell you this: look at the hand on that zombie, huh? That's a heavy duty paint job. If you don't know much about painting, that's heavy duty. Those are high plaster, high octane oil paints all over his hand. You can see other guys in the photo. Look, they have veins in their hand. He has no veins. Heavy duty. They brought in Bob Ross, and he said, we're going to make happy little hands over here. So let's check the comments. Michael, fungible means exchangeable, returnable, or replaceable. Thank you, Michael. I can always count on. Hey, Timothy Travis in the chat. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, friend. Hold on. Chat's going wild now. All of a sudden, you address the chat, and they think they're from Detroit, saying we're the best city ever, Detroit Rock City. Jesus, calm it down. I gotta address Timothy Travis personally. 3% of 33,000 pages is 1,000 pages missing. Timothy, talking about the Epstein files, release the files, not the PH files. We know you're trying to release them. And folks, there is so much news, so much audio goodness I have to share with you. Donald Trump, the Epstein survivors, these women and men that are, representing, they are so much more courageous than this coward turd right here. They held a press conference, and you know what Donald Trump did? I'm going to play the audio for you. He had a flyover. He had F-16s fly over while the survivors were speaking. So he's really he's even using F-16s to try to distract. And I have the audio. We're going to listen to it. I watched it earlier. They released 33,000 pages, 99.25.7% of it was redacted because probably Donald Trump's name is in it. And 100% of it was already out in the public. They're trying to push, we're going to talk about this, link down below to this story. Where is it? From the New Republic. Love that. What do they call it? Love that quarterly. Whatever it is, quarterly of the hour. Is that when they release? Trump desperately tries to kill petition to release the Epstein files. Oh, gross. That's a gross photo. He called it he said, President Donald Jeffrey Epstein's best friend Trump's administration warned Republicans Tuesday that voting to release more files, not PH files. Donald is trying to release the files, PH files. Like Ghislaine, he moved her to that camp where she can do yoga now and stuff. They're talking about the files with an F. They said voting to release more files on Epstein would be seen as an act of war. He called it style. We don't applaud for that. No, we don't. I know some of you in the chat are going to applaud for that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the F-16 file. We're going to talk about the Epstein survivors, these women who are so much braver than Donald and his goons. And not goons as in like Goonies, like the cool, Chester Copperpot chasing motherfuckers. But, goons as in gross. You got to put on glasses because you don't want them to hurt your eyes. You don't want them to send you to hell for what you've seen. Trump looking skitty in the face, and he looked like he got a swollen eye. Mega Man, sorry. Yeah. You see his neck nuts on full display. I think that's inappropriate to have that in the Golden Office. It's no longer the White House. Now it is the Gold House because he's he stripped the pipes for the copper and they plastered it on all the decorations. It looks like a Russian whore's house or something. But I think he should be wearing a bra. I don't think that's appropriate, like tube top. Basically, that's his neck's tube top. Look at his neck boobies hanging out. Lovey Thames said hello. Trump is looking extremely fungible. Yes, Michael. Oh, Trump guilty AF. Yep, he is. Randy voted for a felon. Sucker. Who said that? Lynn Daly. Oh, you got to get your Lynn Daly. That's why they say that. GOP, the guardians of the PDF files, correct. Somebody said, this guy said, are you a paid activist? No. But I'll tell you what, if they offered me $8,000, listen, BTC, the Bitcoin Cohen, what his name is, Brian Mary Tyler Cohen Moore. I always felt he was suspect. I remember when he first came up, like he was like, hi guys, I'm going to do a YouTube thing. I'm going to watch Logan Paul's It's Every Day, Bro, 4,000 times. Maybe I'm getting my YouTubers confused. That happened at one point from someone. But Brian Mary Tyler Moore Cohen, known as BTC, the Bitcoin man, turns out he was paid by the Democrats. And the funny thing is, this story's hilarious because the Republicans, they have such simps on their side. Well, the Republicans have like Ben Shapiro, who's paid by the Wilkes brothers or the Wilkes brothers, which if you don't know, they are fracking magnates. They're oil tycoons. They're basically robber barons. And then Tim Pool, who was like paid by Russia, So it's like the alt-right, these new Nazis, their beliefs aligns with Russia. Russia's like, pay those guys. They have some hot takes. And then the Democrats are like, I've always felt suspect. Like, I'm for anybody who's like, hey, let's protect democracy. But old Bitcoin Brian or whatever, BTC, if you got those initials, you got to go by Bitcoin, right? I think it's by law. You have to. Trump made a new law and order, presidential law and order. But BTC, old Mary Tyler Cohen, being paid, he was one of the ones? I don't know, because I'm like, of course. They're all like half-hearted, like, let's protect democracy, but keep the status quo, guys. We really got to like protect the politicians that protect the corporations. You should be suspect all that. And that's why I say I've never been registered a Democrat. I was in the Green Party for a little bit when I was real young. I was experimenting. I want to go to the Green Party, see what it was about. But I've never been a Democrat. I think the two-party system has failed America horribly. And if you haven't, maybe you're new here. Hi. I'm sorry everybody's blaming you for being an immigrant, even though all of us are, like fucking everybody is. And they're like, no, these immigrants, the new ones are the reason. It's like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, unless you're new here and you've been living through the collapse, the banks, the bubbles, the housings, the healthcare's, free Luigi, it's going horrible. So anyone who's like, defend the status quo, they're suspect. I say tear the whole system down. Donald Trump's, that's the only thing he's helping us do. He's dismantling it. The only thing he's not like dismantling it in a good way. He's doing it where he's like, hey, Peter Palantir. Oh, that's what he should have called this company. Peter Thiel should have called this company Palantir instead of Palantir. Yeah, he should have called it Palantir. Copyright, patent pending. You can't steal that by law because I said it. Palantir. Maybe I should start a company called Palantir, where I just don't take your data, or I comfort you, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm not taking your data. And that's like the whole company. But Donald Trump has basically handed, all the libertarians, they're like, I need small government. And I'm like, what are you, a major corporation? They're like, no, my dad knows a guy who owns a business. And you're like, shut the fuck, what are you talking about? You know what small government to the Dennis Pragers and the Palantils means? It means the government can't regulate them. So if you die on the job, they don't even get fined anymore. Like, they're so petty about it. They're like, you fined us 100,000. We only made 3 trillion last year. So these real wine babies that think they're libertarians aren't. They're just, corporate puppets. And I don't even like saying that. We got to come up with a new word because, like, puppets are cool. Like, Jim Henson had puppets, which he named Muppets. Let's get back to the chat. Timothy. Jesus was a good, honorable gangster. He was. He was a radical leftist. Palantir, because Peter loves ruining things I love. Just stop. My relatives were settlers, not immigrants. Donna Duncan, do you hear how dumb you sound? Settlers. Where were they settling from? Look, you're, oh God, America's really got a case of the stupids. Stop that. My great grandparents didn't immigrate here. They traveled on boat to settle. Well, I've settled it. You're stupid. Go to the next live stream. Anyways, Jesus does talk about capitalism stick meat. Thank you for joining. I don't know why you have a crown in number 3. I don't know what some of this language is. I'm old. But he does. When he goes to his father's house on a Sunday, and the pigeon sellers were there hawking pigeons, they were like, "Here, get your pigeons, get your pigeons." And he flipped over tables and chased him out with whips, calling him a den of thieves, saying, "How dare you turn my father's house into a den of thieves, corporate slaves." That's right. That's what they are, Timothy. So you like immigrants? Yeah, my family immigrated. In fact, part of my family immigrated from England back in before it was even this was like a thing, you know? Like my family truly runs deep. And you don't hear me trying to call us settlers. I'm like, we ruined this fucking country. Like, it wasn't a country, but we ruined this land. The natives had it figured out. They were living sweet, man. They had matriarchs and cool fucking deals with the lands where they wouldn't abuse it, and just like shamans and sweat lodges. Like, yo, they had, oh, goddamn, we fucked it up. Anyways, at least argue a better policy. Oh, exploring cabins and mines. Stay safe out there. I'll argue policy all you want. $66 minimum wage. No, don't freak out, you freaking fascist crybabies. When the minimum wage goes up, because the economy is 70% consumer purchasing power, we all do better. Stop thinking that Peter Palanteel is going to all your local stores to support small businesses. These wealthy people are hoarding it. And here in Massachusetts, talk about policy. Here in Massachusetts, we put a millionaire's tax. I got to talk about this once a day now because some person comes in here unaware that Massachusetts successfully, not a wealth tax, but we should tax wealth, not work. Massachusetts 2022, look it up. We taxed millionaires and they all threatened they were going to leave. And I said, good, get the fuck out of here. Cape Cod would be better without you. But they couldn't leave Nantucket. You know, they were like, oh, dude, how dare we? We'd never leave Nantucket. We called their bluff. And guess what? The millionaires didn't leave. Millionaires grew by 35%. We have 35% more millionaires after the millionaires tax. So if you want to become a millionaire, guys, I know some of you bootlickers think you're going to become one. You got to tax them, and we get more millionaires. But also, every kid in the state gets free lunch. Every kid, and what else? Oh, free college. Free college. If anybody wants a bachelor's degree, they can just go to any community college. It's amazing. So exploring cabins and mines doesn't really want to talk policy. He just wants to try to dissuade from my argument. No, you know what a podcast for weaklings is, Edwin? What do you listen to? Joe Rogan? That's a podcast for weaklings. Anyone who challenges the mighty Joe Graham is called a beta skibbity rismacuck. So that's a podcast for weaklings, you know? Any podcast that warns you about the radical left who wants you to have universal health care paid for by your taxes. They want the government to run health care. You know what I've heard people say? Oh, you want the government to run that? It's like, yeah, they already run the VA. They already run veterans health care. And from what I've heard, it's way better than the private health care we have. So yes, I would like them to do what they're doing with the VA. That is a podcast for weaklings. But we're gonna, all you MAGA fans, don't go anywhere. Okay? Because you guys were about a year ago. I remember you guys saying, release the Epstein files. I remember that. We all remember collectively. And the survivors are speaking out. And Donald Trump's saying any Republican that tries to release those things, it's going to be deemed a hostile act, an act of war. I wonder if he's going to send the National Guard into the Republican chambers. That's his answer to everything. I wish he would send the National Guard to the egg places Send in the guard. Send in the military. Have them lower the egg prices. And some of you are like, yeah, let's see them do it. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and the like button. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. I'll give you a second. No, I won't. We're going to get into some news. Paul, you should leave. Mods, you don't have to block him. He hasn't said anything racist yet, but that name, Nick Fuentes, it's not even a funny joke, you know what I mean? Like, Paul, he's absolute scum turd, scared of his own shadow. And those are the people that should be leaving America. Those are the people that want an authoritarian. You know, when people tell me, get out of America, I go, you dummy, do you not know what America is? America's made so the people, we the people, can change it. Not so we the people can say, hey, we'd like a king again. We'd like to try a king again. We know it's been 300 years. But I think all of you people that need, like, you know, Big Daddy Don, Jeff Epstein's best friend, is an authoritarian telling you he'll send the military at anything that scares you, including homeless people. Homeless people scare you? Don't worry, I'll send the military. That will use our resources in a good fashion. That's a good way to spend your tax dollars. Let's send the military to American cities. Let's not house them, because housing them would be cheaper and solve the problem. Let's, you know, make people think they're safer because the military's there. The only problem is once all the homeless are gone, who do you think they're going to come after? Ooh. Who are they going to come after? Thank you. That was a good point. You don't have to clap, though. What were we talking about? Oh, MAGA, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. The survivors are speaking out. We're talking about releasing the files, not the PH files like Trump is doing. You know, he's going, oh, the PH files. Let's get them to the camps, the prison camps where there's no walls and they could do yoga and play VR. I don't know what they do there. But we're talking about the F files, the Epstein files with an F. We want those released. And I'm going to play some of the survivors' audio. Donald Trump sent F-16s over their heads to distract from it. What a baby, you know? Talk about being threatened by everything. But first, let's do some meme news. Bridget, he tried intimidating them. He did, Bridget. And when you hear these survivors talk about, because some reporter, we're going to get into it, but some reporter goes, why won't you? Because the news is the survivors are like, we're going to compile our own list. You know, the government won't release it. They're a bunch of cowards. We're going to compile it. And some reporter goes, why don't you just say their names? You know, which maybe you're going, yeah, why? And they go, and the lawyer spoke up for him too. But some of the women were like, we've been threatened. Our daughters have been followed. We've been called, you know, like, you got to remember, these are the most, you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Okay. He's in these files. These are the most powerful men in the world with the most money. And a reporter's like, why you women that are coming out from hiding, not saying the most powerful people's names? And it's like, you fucking dummy. Because if the government does it, what are these powerful people going to do? Threaten the government? You know, they're all little kitty cats to this purring poop tiger. You know, they won't say anything to him. They're terrified of him. But to individual women's, I mean, they'll bully him. They'll harass. They'll threaten. So, you know, the government needs to release the files. And why is old neck nuts? Look at those neck nuts. Look at how inappropriate that is. Can I block it and just show you? Like, if you just looked at that, I mean, some of you perverts are probably, you know, getting excited over that. God, exploring cabins and mines. I'm going to take a second. So stop. Okay. Timothy, now you can give Paul a timeout for 24 hours. Because if he's just going to keep saying Nick Fuentes, if he's like a broken record, or CJ, whoever wants to put Paul in a timeout for 24 hours, Paul, try again tomorrow, man. You are absolutely... Bandito's here. Good to see you. He says, MAGA loves the neck bussy. Well, that one MAGA loves Nick Fuentes. If you don't know who that is, that's the racist who, like, was, you know, helping to platform Kanye West, which is a weird thing to say. But he's absolutely despicable. He's the one that tweeted, like, your body, my choice, and then, you know, got very scared when people showed up at his, like, he's just an absolutely despicable human. He belongs in 1930s Germany, you know? Those people go fit right in. Go, get out of here, go. Love your content, 10. Weeping lilies. Why, thank you. Paul, I'm putting you in a 24. Not a ban, not a ban, not a ban, but a timeout. We mute them because if you're just broken, if your brain is broken and you're sitting at home just typing Nick Fuentes again and again, like, we got to put you in a timeout, you know? But turns out Donald Trump has ADDementia. It's a version of ADD. It's where you're so old you don't know what you're talking about, and you just kind of ramble on and bunch of topics, and yeah, somebody asks you a question, you just start talking about something. It's really weird, you know? For all the people that were critiquing Joe Bummer, old Joe Brandon, how is this not highly concerning to you? This should be. This should be. This dude, not only are they covering a zombie bite with some Bob Ross paints, but this dude is not looking like the bill of health or sounding like it. We got to get into some meme news. I want to take you through the news via meme form. So, yeah, we were looking for him. This was trending, and then we had to try to find him, and he came out. I'm going to play some of the news conference for you. So the other day, we're going through some meme news. We're going to get to the Epstein survivors and Donald Trump's ADH dementia. But I wanted to share this with you. Marlon Wayans commented on the Snoop Dogg homophobic comments. I can't read that. He said, I'm tired of defending this dude. I defended him on his criminal stuff, the Gayle King situation, and I took heat for defending him online when he performed for Trump. But this crosses the line. Sooner or later, you just realize someone has issues. There ain't no Hollywood agenda to turn kids gay. This is the dumbest stuff I've ever heard. Disney characters lie, cheat, steal, kill, poison, and everything. And don't nobody say it's any agenda to turn their kids into a piece of crap. I watched Snow White when I was a kid, and I ain't give a bitch a poison apple yet. I love that line. That's a good one. But as soon as a gay character pop up, it's an agenda. The agenda is to make your kids empathetic, not gay. White people acted the same way when black people started being seen on TV. And that is truth. This is just truth. And I wanted to share that with you because Marlon Wayans, God bless you for coming out and saying that. I think it's absolutely brilliant that he pointed out that you saw this the other day with the Sydney Sweeney stuff. When black people started getting more time on TV, you know, how did a lot of racist people react? It's an agenda. Oh my God. And they freaked out. And the thing is, you know, you don't see these people saying like, oh my God, my kid watched a Disney thing and now he's, you know, Disney pulled a meme coin and he's acting just like the president. He's trying to pull meme coins out of school. Like, it's only on the stuff that they're absolutely terrified of. And it's not in the name of freedom either, because you can't say, oh, we're proud to be the land of the free, but I restrict who you can marry. Like, that's not how it works. So I think Snoop Dogg has been reading this book. You know, he also performed for Trump. By the way, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Humpty, pronounced with the T. This is the Rob Hood Vision Quest. For all of you looking for a new home after you abandoned Joe Rogan's spaceship, because it's not a podcast anymore, it's just state-run propaganda. It's basically just Joe Rogan being like, here are my friends at the FBI saying there's nothing in the files. Here's my friends in banking saying they got debanked and it's very not fair to the billionaires. I'm your vibe guru. I call it a vibe coach sometimes. But I encourage you, hit subscribe, hit the little thumbs up, hit all the buttons, press everything. Just see what happens. Maybe you'll figure out a cheat code and glitch the matrix. But we're going to get to what made Nancy Mace look like this. That's not her regular resting, look like a sorry bitch face. This, you know, piece of human garbage that the raccoons rejected and got a position in politics actually showed emotion today when leaving the meeting with the Epstein survivors, or maybe it was yesterday. And I'm going to play their audio for you. I wanted to point out old Just Dance Vance, his older tweets from the 21s. Is that what we say, the 21s? Just Dance said, what possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein's clients a secret? Oh, I don't know, Just Dance, what is it? Just Dance Vance, if you're a journalist and you're not asking questions about this case, you should be ashamed of yourself. What purpose do you even serve? I'm sure there's middle-class teenagers somewhere who you could use some harassing right now, but maybe you try to do your job once in a while. I said this the other day, Just Dance. The mainstream media, funded by billionaires and corporations to protect their profits and the status quo at every possible way, in every possible way, they are failing the American public massively right now. And so just remember that, and that's why you got to support independent satiricalism. Hit subscribe. What else? Oh, look at this. You see the big meeting? I didn't watch nothing about the big meeting because I've been listening to old Jeffrey Epstein's best friend ramble on, and the survivors, how brave they are. Braver than Donald Trump ever could be in his life. Mr. 5 deferments. I had bone spurs only during Vietnam. Just Jack on Blue Sky said Kim Jong-un introduced President Xi to his teenage daughter. He didn't introduce Trump to his daughter. I can only assume he's read the Epstein files. That's a good one. That's a good one. And then some meme news. I bring you. Oh, speaking of Bitler, Bitcoin Cullen or whatever his name is. I think he. That's the other thing that Brian Mary Tyler Moore Cohen does. He'll like take people's tweets and post his name in the other corner, like they're up there, and I think he's down here somewhere. I can't see it. And then he'll reshare it, and I thought that was dumb. I'm like, do it like I do, show it on a live stream or something. Don't just repost somebody else's post. But I do that too, whatever. Let's just critique him because he got paid by the Democrats, the deep state blues, the blue MAGA. Because again, I'm not a Democrat, folks, and none of us should be. And you definitely shouldn't be the PDF file protectors, the guardians of PDF files. Absolutely not, unless you want everybody thinking that you're one of them. But I thought this was interesting. It said, isn't it strange how mental illness hardly massacres anyone in Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom? We don't elect you to pray, That wasn't part of the agenda. That wasn't part of your politics. Like, I'm going to be the hardest prayer in Congress. What else do we got in the meme news? You ever notice that it's socially acceptable to tell poor people how to spend their money? But when we ask the rich to stop hoarding wealth, the response is, it's their money. Who said private bone spurs? Newsom and Melania 2028. Oh, man. He's going to be slipping it in before that. And then, I don't know if you've seen this wanted poster. Overpaid Starbucks CEO made $98 million a year, more than Google. And his biggest idea so far is the ride on cups. And then in small print, it says Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol, who came from Chipotle. He had no coffee experience. Makes 6,666 times more than the average barista. This man is wanted at the bargaining table to settle a fair contract. Starbucks can afford it. Support workers, sign the contract. Sign the no contract, no coffee pledge. Support striking workers, support unions, unionize your work. What these workers are asking for would amount to 1 day of profits. I don't know if you know this. There's 365 days in the year. So what the workers are asking for in pay and stuff, it would just take them 1 day of profits, and they're not even trying to negotiate. What else have we got in the meme news? Oh, CEO pay up 1,085% since 1978, while worker pay is up just 24%. Millions live paycheck to paycheck as they struggle to afford. He should have said millions live paycheck to paycheck as some just live cushy on millions. Is it any wonder why 70% of people said they believe the American dream no longer holds true and never did? Well, George Carlin once said, to believe in the American dream, you gotta be asleep, fool. Let's see, is there any other meme news? Let me check. I got to check for you, okay? You sit tight for a second. We're going to check. We're going to be doing some checking. Checking and checking, checking and checking and checking and checking and checking. Here's a good meme news. This is like a PSA. We're going to have a PSA segment. The more you know. Don't just teach your children to read. Teach them to question what they read. Teach them to question everything. I love that. Some of you, like Jim Brewer, you could still hit subscribe and notification bell, even though Jim Brewer's gone off the deep end. Now he's like, I'm a country boy from country Long Island, New York. People start pandering and grifting as soon as they announce, they're a backwoods country boy sitting in a rocking chair with a spittoon. But yeah, Jim Brewer's gone off the deep end. He took George Carlin's thing too far. He was like, teach your children to read, teach them to question everything. I'm going to question a science. Okay, Jim. Can we take back the measles vaccine? Why don't you go get some polio? This is important. In 1969, the Black Panthers launched free breakfasts across the U.S., feeding thousands of kids before school. The FBI called it a threat. In some cities, police raided kitchens, smashed food, and urinated on supplies to shut them down. Fred Hampton, a hero of mine, more people should know about this. But yes, the Black Panthers did feed children. It's an amazing program that they were doing. And then the government and Chicago police assassinated Fred Hampton. And we're going to get into the news in 1 minute, but my God, you worthless Republican Congress members. He's grifting in plain sight. He's selling sponsorships of the White House events. He seized the Kennedy Center. He's selling federal buildings. He's attacking institutions. He's defying court orders. He manipulated a market. He's weaponized the DOJ, got rid of food safety, got rid of disease control. He wants to destroy public lands. He wants to mine seabeds on international waters. He's extorting minerals from other nations. He gave unelected oligarchs access to government data, and they leaked it. Big balls. He weakened global confidence in America. Here's something you care about. His poll numbers are underwater. Every single issue with Republicans, and it's been only 135 days. Do something. And that's why I'm here. Well, I'm here because I love sharing the news with you. I'm Rob. This is the Rob Hood Vision Quest. If you like the Joegram, you're going to love this. I don't have the CIA on to tell you like, hey, man, all that conspiracy stuff? No. That's what Joe's doing. That's what Joe's resorted to now. Don't forget. The Republicans know. That's why they're going to release the files, not the PH ones, though. All right, let's get into it, folks. Before we hear from old painted hands, let's see. I want to play some audio for you. Oh, this is some more meme news. I don't know if you caught this, but McDonald's CEO went on CNBC and said the quiet part out loud. Says we're living in a two-tiered economy where the rich are getting richer and doing very well, while the middle and lower class are getting poorer and having to skip meals. This is America, okay? And this is Trump's America, just like it was Biden's America. I don't like either of them. Stop playing partisan politics. It's our lives. And we are one of the richest nations in the world. There shouldn't be hungry kids in this country. We shouldn't have medical debt. We shouldn't have homeless people, and they shouldn't be in jail. Jesus Christ, people. Read a fucking book. Read a book. This book talks about Utah. Dropped homelessness 73.42%. And they did it by housing the homeless. They just gave them homes and counseling. And it only cost $11,000. When they criminalized it, it cost them $16,000 per taxpayer. So it's economical, not cruel, and it solves the problem. You house the homeless. If we're a wealthy nation, we should easily be doing that. But the only way we do it is if we all agree and hit subscribe. Did you believe that? You got to hit subscribe if you want to do that. Well, technically, because, we're all kind of like-minded here. And when you go, oh, echo chamber, yes. If an echo chamber is like, we're like, no one should be calling Uber instead of an ambulance. Yeah, it's a great echo chamber. What is yours? It's yours like, hey, we should send the military to more American cities. Yeah. Fucking morons. Anyways, I want to play this for you because this is, again, the McDonald's CEO saying like, oh, these dumb poor people, they don't realize this guy's on our team. But that's crazy. Really? A Nepo baby who Fred Trump, his dad, gave him everything he has. He failed a casino. He bankrupted a casino. This guy from New York City who had a gold toilet growing up, bragged about it, coastal elite, CEO of many failed businesses, isn't for you hicks in Oklahoma? What? Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. This just in, Nepo baby coastal elite who used to actually be a Democrat and then just played his way and grifted into being a Republican president actually doesn't care about farmers. Can't believe I had to do that.
And part of what we also saw was that, particularly with middle and lower income consumers, they're
particularly with the middle and lower incomes. The incomes that are not the us.
Under a lot of pressure right now. I think there's a lot of commentary about what's the state of the economy, how's it doing, and what we see is it's really kind of a two-tier economy. If you're
Did you hear what the McDonald's CEO just said? Really, it's a two-tier economy. I wonder what the tiers could be. Go on, McDonald's CEO. And all you cucks for the CEOs who like worship them, like they shouldn't pay more taxes, really. Like, it's their money. They earned it by having a rich dad.
upper income, earning over $100,000, things are good. Stock markets are near all-time highs. You're feeling, quite.
And he said over $100,000. That's bullshit. He's doing that to like, this is the trick. The wealthy are very organized and conniving. This is the trick. They make you think if you make six figures, you're like one of them. But what you don't understand is, they have billions of dollars. Like they're like rent. What is that? Is that a new word? Remember when he was like groceries? It's an old timey word from when there were the poors and they had to go get the groceries. And he was like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. He's never had to go grocery shopping in his life. Like he said people do that for him. So when he was like, the groceries, I think I made that up. Is that a thing? We'll say that's like stuff you buy at the store. This was the guy that you guys all related to. You're like, he's just like us. I was thinking the other day, groceries, what an old-timey word, you fucking dummies. This is the trick they do. He says like, yeah, if you're making $89,000 a year, you're one of us. And you're like, yeah, I know I'm making $100,000 and can't buy a home, but I'm totally one of them. It's not true. Okay. People making under $300,000 a year, under $500. The other day, or a couple years ago, the New York Times or Wall Street Journal made up a new word, richflation. They made up the word called richflation, where they were like, people making six figures are now struggling a little bit. Sad face. It's like, fuck you. Imagine what minimum wage people are doing. And that was a job that FDR himself said should be not a bare subsistence level of living, but the living of a decent one, with recreation, education, health. That's what FDR said when he implemented it. So don't get mad at me, you bunch of babies.
Confident about things, you're seeing international travel, all those barometers.
Who's seeing international travel? I was just thinking the other day, like if I was a Scandinavian kid trying to come into this country with all these photos on my phone. Hold on, where is it? Where's the funny one? Where is it? Where did it go? Here it is. Like, think about this. The meme police, Donald Jeffrey Epstein, Trump's best friend, Donald Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Trump, he has meme police. There was a Norwegian kid that got kicked out of the country. He wasn't allowed in because he had a meme, J.D. Vance meme on his phone. Is that your idea of freedom, MAGA? Really? That if I was a Scandinavian kid trying to visit America, if I had this on my phone, they wouldn't let me in? Oh, it sounds really free. It sounds like China. Sounds like you guys like China. You should go to China. Go. Leave, please. But don't enjoy this high-speed rail. Don't. You're not allowed to enjoy it when you go there.
Of upper income consumers are doing quite well. What we see with middle and lower income consumers is actually a different story.
Oh, really? Is it a different story? The people that were like, can you lower egg price? I'll vote for you. It's a different story for the poor people? Go on. What insights from this? I see why he's CEO. What brilliant insights.
Consumers under a lot of pressure in our industry. Traffic for lower income consumers is down double digits.
That's how they see you, as like cattle being herded through their drive-through. And they're like, oh man, it's down. I wonder how we fix that. Send in the military. They're not like, hey, let's just pay these people more so they can afford the $10 Big Mac. They're like, we can't figure it out, guys. We've tried everything. We tried laying off everybody. We tried sending in the military. I don't know. What should we do? Should we send them to Venezuelan prisons? I don't know. Will that help the economy? I get why he's CEO. He's so smart.
And it's because people are either choosing to skip a meal. So we're seeing breakfast. People are actually skipping breakfast, or they're choosing to just eat at home.
He's like, they're skipping meals. And we can't figure it out. We only pay them the minimum wage. I wonder why they're doing that. We'll have to hire some executives. I'll put a task force on it and figure out why people don't have money. We'll never get to the bottom of it. I know. They're probably buying avocado toast. Yeah, and new iPhones. That's where all their money's going.
And so for our business, which has a significant group of consumers which are in that middle and lower income.
He just said McDonald's. We kind of like the poors. This McDonald's is like the poors thing.
We needed to step in with something like what we're doing here.
Yeah, because it's a
This is fucking crazy. And you people voted for that guy in different form to help you. It's so funny. He's like, oh yeah, we're doing fine. No, rich people all time, great times we could ever have. He's like, but those others, the ones with not the monies, yeah, tough times for them. We're seeing them skip meals. Whew, must be difficult. Must be hungry. Yeah, that's great. That's welcome to America. And then let's just so you guys know, if you're like, oh well, couldn't be Donald Trump helping. Well, here, let's listen to Democrat Sam Liccardo. Old Liccardo just exposed the real two-tier justice system. Trump's billionaire donors and Wall Street banks are having their cases dropped in secret. Not secret anymore. We're blasting it out there. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the little thumbs up. Let's share this message. Okay, here we go.
Bank of America and JP Morgan were both under investigation regarding the Zelle network, regarding the failure to reimburse customers that were defrauded by scam artists.
Holy shit. So you hear that? They wouldn't reimburse people who were defrauded. These aren't billionaires with extra money. They're the ones that are skipping McDonald's for breakfast.
And that action was taken to the CFPB.
CFPB. Remember Mark Zuckerberg went on Joe Rogan and was like, silly me, I don't even know what that is. That's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and it holds these corporations and the Zuckerbergs accountable for ripping off consumers. And I don't know if you know this. You might be a consumer. Have you ever bought something at a place? You're a consumer. So yeah, they protect us. And Donald Trump went in and was like, oh, fuck that thing. That thing that was like, I can't do college to rip off these people. No, get rid of that.
And what was the result of that action?
Those are also among the cases that have been dismissed.
Dismiss the cases. Have you, oh, here we go. Now we can do it, folks. Have you even said thank you? If you got ripped off on Zelle and you, before Donald Trump came in office, heard about some class action or something, and once Donald Trump came in, that class action was dismissed, have you even said thank you to old Epstein's best friend?
And Bank of America contributed to Donald Trump and his inauguration, didn't they?
Yes,
Was it $500,000?
I believe so.
Oh, so they donated $500,000 and got a huge favor. Probably way more than $500,000 in stuff they would have had to pay back.
And JP Morgan another $1 million?
Yes.
JP Morgan, I believe that's Epstein's bank.
And Capital One, the evidence from the CFPB indicated they may have cheated customers out of as much as $2 billion. Capital One contributed $1 million to Trump's inauguration.
Also true.
And what happened as a result to the CFPB case?
They got their case dismissed.
So do you hear that? They were trying to keep this secret. They were trying to do things in the dark. But by the power Christ has invested in me, I shine a light on it. Plot-ow. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Donald Trump didn't want you to know that he's dismissing all these cases. The regime, all his little loyalists, the redcoats, they're dismissing. They're like, let's see, Bank of America donated, check, dismissed their case. Capital One was defrauding their customers of $2 billion. Did they donate? They did. Dismissed. This is who he works for. Dave Chappelle said it years ago in some stand-up. He's like, fool, he works for me. He's trying to cut my taxes. And you people didn't listen. You people, you maggots. We identify you by that red hat, that mark of the beast you're wearing. All right, we're going to talk now. These are the Epstein survivors. These brave, brave women. I don't know what it took. It must have been terrifying to come out and speak out and do what they've done, especially when the president of the United States, Epstein's best friend, is listed in those files. And then today, simultaneously said to the Republicans, if you vote to release these files, we'll consider it a hostile act, an act of war. This must be terrifying, but these women are still doing it. Oh, that was some more meme news. That's different news we'll get to later. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. White House said yesterday that the petition to force a vote on the release of the files was a hostile act. And notice it's files with an F. If it was a PH, he would say, that's fine. Let them all out. But because it's with an F, files with an F, he says hostile act. Link down below to this article. Hold on, let's check in with the comments. How's it going in the comments? How are you guys doing? Everybody relaxed? The veteran. Name one good politician. Graham Plattner. Look him up. So many people love Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Trump probably wears diapers. You know that, right? You're skibbity alpha male. Was a diaper wearing, diaper don. That's what they called him, right? In high school? That's probably why he's so vengeful now. He got teased a little bit. I mean, that's the theory with a lot of these dudes, you know. Zuckerberg had to create a website because he couldn't get women. Joe Rogan had to take karate because he couldn't get women. All these dudes bullied. Now they're like, I have all the money. I think that's what some of you have in common, you know. You're just vengeful and you're living vicariously through these petty tyrants. The veteran. As a disabled veteran, I can't name one. The veteran. Check out Graham Plattner. He's running against Susan Collins in Maine. Please check him out. Or the Zorhan. You don't mess with the Zorhan. He's amazing. He's going to have government grocery stores, rent freezes, free transit. I love it. I love it. Yeah, the veteran. You know what I'm going to do for the veteran? I'm going to take a moment before we get to the Epstein survivors. I'm going to show you some Graham. I love showing off some Graham Plattner. Let's be honest. Oh, I hope I didn't delete it. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. The veteran. The old veteran. Here we go. Here we go. This is from Graham Plattner's website. Rebuild the healthcare system, support small businesses, stop, defend our air. This, and billionaire tax dodging. The dude is amazing. I've already written his people. This is more. They built a billionaire economy, one that creates explosive growth for a tiny privileged few. 1990, there were 66 billionaires. Today, there are over 900. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Today, there's over 900, and in America, 1 in 5 kids go food insecure in America. 25 empty homes for every homeless person in America. Something's wrong. And it ain't, they need more tax breaks, you know? There's no trickle down. It's a trick. So let's get to the ladies, the survivors. We're gonna get to the survivors. I want to play this clip.
Also, I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors.
Now, after that, one of the journalists, if you could call him that, so why don't you just say it here now? And they were like, bitch, are you dumb? They didn't say that, but that's what I would have said. I would have said, are you stupid? Do you know who we're talking about? The richest people, the guy that's in the White House? And then this is the scene. I screenshotted it. Let me play this. This is what I mean. It's like, it's so crazy to me that somebody asked that when the guy who's in these files they're talking about, who they're like, he's going to be on the list. We already know he is. He's got many photos, videos, birthday cards, interviews talking about how he was friends with Epstein. That guy who's the president right now, he did an F-16 flyover. You want to hear it? Listen. And there are no coincidences, weirdly enough. You know when the flyover happened? A reporter goes, you had mentioned Trump was friends with Epstein. He was on the list. And then listen to what you hear. Ready? There's one flyover. They had to stop.
I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for over 10 years. Ghislaine Maxwell was present for some of my abuse. at the hand of Jeffrey Epstein. She was present, she was complicit, she was enabling, and it is appalling and disgusting. And it's one of my worst nightmares that she not only be transferred, but at the possibility that's very much going around that she might be pardoned. This is not okay, guys. This is not okay.
And I just want to add that I think it sends a very dangerous message to our country, to the young people in our country, that someone that we all know is aware of these crimes could be given a pass.
You hear that? These women are not only brave, but they're smart, and they make good points. Donald Trump getting the okay from Ghislaine, hey, stop blackmailing me, and I'll put you in a nicer prison where you could do yoga. And these ladies are like, what message is that sending? All you people who like to lecture about crime. Isn't that funny? The dude who's like, we got to clean up crime, we're going to send the military, is like, but only certain kinds of crime. You know, my friends that do the crime, they can go to a nice prison. Maybe they'll get pardoned. But now listen, one flyer already happened. A reporter's going to ask this other lady, and listen to what happens.
Just for the last survivor who just spoke, the last survivor who just spoke, she said that Epstein would brag about her relationship with Donald Trump.
So he said, hey, for the last survivor, she said Epstein would brag about her relationship with Trump. Do you believe in coincidences? Joe Rogan used to, like, you know, this was his whole podcast. Like, oh, man, what do you think? There's no way that it happened at that time. You know, they're using Palantir to listen to you so they can coordinate flyovers. And now he's like, no, the government did it on accident. They didn't even mean to. Cash Money Patel and Dan Vagina told me that, you know, the list doesn't exist.
Could you please elaborate about that?
Shut it.
The microphones.
Get close.
Yeah, I did say that.
As soon as he asks about Trump or Epstein bragging about being friends with Trump, Shantae Davies goes to walk up in another flyover. This man is a petty tyrant. He's wasting your tax dollars to fly over these survivors who, if he had just released the list, released the Epstein files, they wouldn't have to do this. And for all you who wonder, why don't these ladies just name them? Again, these are the most powerful, wealthy people in the world, to no ends. If you listen to this, it's like 2 hours long. I'll watch the whole thing. If you listen to them, they talk about their kids being threatened by these wealthy billionaire perverts, that their lives have been, you know, it's just, it's a tough road. They're very brave, and I stand in solidarity with them. And you should too. And last year, when Biden was in control, you were. That's how you know these are no backbone people. When they just go wherever Donald Trump tells them. They have no morals, no nothing. Absolute garbage for people. You need to stand for something, or you fall for anything. You need to know where you stand. Okay? 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 There was another extended interview NBC News did. I'll link it down below. I just want to play this because another survivor speaks out and says this.
Sorry, it's always a bit nerve-wracking to speak on camera like this, but I mean, I just want to say that the government has failed us. I mean, Maria Farmer reported this in 1996, and now there's a pending lawsuit where hopefully there will be some accountability. Yeah.
1996. So when you guys talk about Kamala or Joe Biden or old bummer, what I'm trying to teach you here, the seed I'm trying to plant, is none of them work for us. We need a working class party. We, the people, can hold them accountable. But you got to stop being divided and stupid. You got to stop thinking we got to own the libs. No, we need to make our country better. That's through healthcare, accountability for not this two-tiered system that you heard the McDonald's guy talk about. The two-tiered system is not only in the economy right now, but it is also in the justice system. Hold on, I want to get down to the comments. A new party. We need it. We need it. Trillium Henry. That's a cool name. I like that. Theo C. Jr. Say hello to Theo C. Sr. for me. We do. We need a new party, a working party, a working class party, a solidarity party. Spitball some names. We're going to mindstorm some names. KRAR. What's up? Good to see you. Most Americans love their neighbors and hate fascist authoritarian traitors. Just a loud, shrinking majority of fools wish you and yours well. That is true. And people forget that because the minority of fools are so loud. People forget that. And what I've been trying to say, I was talking about this earlier. When you have someone like Donald Trump, people were attracted to him and flocked to him in droves, even though he has like many photos. Hold on, let me just pull up one of the fucking bounty of them. Well, before I show you this one, he has photos like this and this, like creep material A#1. Oh, and did you see this? The survivors at one point, while you read that, I'm going to tell you a little story that you can watch, link down below to the survivors press conference where the F-16s, your tax dollars, flew over them to distract. And they talked about Eastern European girls that were very, very scared, that don't want to be named, and were hoping the government, when they release the files, their names would be redacted. Funny how Trump's redacting his name and not the victims' names. And they talked about these Eastern European girls and Russians and all the, and all these. And I thought there's been some rumors floating around that were printed in a book and an article. And I just thought it was interesting, I don't know. But this dude has had photos like this since the 90s, right? Bragged about it. Everybody knows. But because he came out balls to the wall, like when people were like, well, Trump's for the working class, he did a 4-year no tax on tips. And it's like, if he cared about workers, he would just raise the federal minimum wage. This guy bulldozes through laws, constitutions, judges, court orders, everything. He was literally scooping people off the street and sending them to a different country. I've never seen that in my life. Never. Just scooping people off the street. No court process, no due process, no nothing, just sending them. And then courts would be like, the plane was in the air, I've ruled. And he was like, what are you going to do, bitch? If he cared about the working class, he would have that kind of fervent vigor for pushing working agendas. Stronger unions, better pay, paid time off, guaranteed sick time. And he's doing none of that. This is like the common sense. I would just hope people like use common sense. Because if you're one of those, I'm a single issue voter. I ignored that he has all these photos with the single most prolific trafficker in the history of the world. You're like, my one issue was egg. Yeah. When he was like, I can't control anything that, why don't you hold him accountable? Go do your little presidential post-it note. Do your executive memo. Write one of those and say, you must lower egg prices. And if you're like, oh, that's communism. The fucking dude bought Intel. He's like, the government owns Intel now. So it's like, shut up. Get out of your little box and just think. Stop being so scared of labels for a second. Stop being afraid of words. And just think, what would make shit better? Well, you guys want egg prices lower. Why isn't he presidential memoing egg price go low? And then does a stupid signature, holds it up like a 4-year-old. He did none of that because he don't give a shit. And I'm hoping enough people have had enough time to realize, like, oh, he's pushed through no working agenda. The one thing I hear is, like, no tax on tips. But I'm like, that expires in 2028. It doesn't help anybody. And the other tax cuts were permanent for the corporations and his billionaire buddies. So you need to stop being scared of things and calling it woke. Or just get this book and read it every night. Stop being scared of labels. Seriously, folks. Like, really. But now we got to get into it. I'm your vibe guru. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Welcome to Rob Hood Vision Quest, the live stream that's hosted every single weekday. We joke about the news because the news is a joke. I mean, there are people that are like, yeah, he's awesome for us. And it's like, what has he done for you? Really? Go ask yourself. But was he alive? That was the rumors yesterday. And at 2 o'clock, promptly, he held a press conference. He wasn't there. I thought they were going to do deep fakes. I thought Just Dance Vance was going to be there. And then, when he showed up 40 minutes later or whatever, look at how rough he looked. Look at those neck nuts. Holy Christ, put a bra on, man. When he showed up, he was not sending his best, He had the old Dennis the Menace hairdo going. He had his hand painted like he looked like he was in a Bob Ross sketch. And this dude was just rough shape. But what do you expect? He's the oldest president ever. Remember, people were like, Biden's so old. They're like, I got an idea. I'll vote for an older guy. Like it makes no sense, but somehow people are like, yeah, that was the answer. I didn't like this old guy, so I'm going to vote for an older guy. Oh, hold on. Let me finish my point before. So the whole thing about Trump, right, is he was brazen. He just went out there balls to the walls. Most people don't even understand, like that farmer who was like, I had government contracts and he canceled them all. And he was like, me no understand. Trump like me? No. Check yes, no. Like, the dum-dums that were like, this is what it was. Here, I'm going to share. They saw a guy who didn't care about anything because he's an entitled brat. His whole life, he was just like, whatever I want, I get. My dad said so. So his whole life, silver spoon right up his butt, and has never had to listen to laws, anything. He sues everybody. He does whatever he wants. And people saw that and were like, that's what a real man is. He doesn't care about nobody. He just does what he wants. And they thought that was going to be a change. And the only real change it was that he was doing it out in the open. These other politicians, they're all corrupt as fuck. Look at them stock trading. Nancy Pelosi's human garbage. Absolute rubbish. She's using her position to just enrich herself. But he was doing it brazenly, like a skibbity alpha male, like the skibbity toilets with the Riz. He was rizzing it up. And all these white men, and some of you other motherfuckers too, were like, wow, that's a guy I can get behind or in front of. Depends. What does Epstein want? And you were smitten like a little kitten over how skibbity alpha Riz he came off. But you didn't understand. He's just an entitled brat. And he throws tantrums if you don't ask him a nice question. Go watch his press conference. You ask him something he doesn't want to answer or doesn't like, he goes, that's not a nice question. You're failing. Like, he's the most fragile, egotistical, petty tyrant we've ever had as a leader. And I don't even know all the leaders. I'm sure there was like a Taft who might have been less chubby than this one. There was an Ozempic at the time. What can you do? But because he was a brazen, balls to the wall, people mistake that. Like, people think Joe Rogan's smart. Like, we're not the best educated. They're not educating the best here. And we need to. We really need to. But because he just was loud and ignorant, like, people were like, that's my single issue. There's not enough loud, ignorant people. They call it not PC, anti-woke, which is just loud and stupid. Like, you're bragging about how stupid you are. And they followed. And they fell right in line like the sheep, like the MAGA motto, the MO, the modus operandi. And they shut up and they were obedient. And the only thing that they're safe saying, look at the comments. They say, Trump 2028, MAGA, Trump's the GOAT. They can't say anything else anything else. Because if he changes his mind tonight and he says, I don't even know. Whatever he says tonight, that's the new narrative. Like, they have to go along with that. They can't say anything. That's why, if you watch, I'm going to play some of this press conference. Because the people that go before him, they don't comment really on anything. They're just like, whatever he just did was the best thing this country's ever seen. Thank you for being the best president. It's like North Korea, except we can understand the language. And it's literally just people just being like, I don't know what his opinion is today, but you are just the best, sir. And thank you for being the best. And so many people are sheep. I know there's a lot of like, the anti-woke, I'm a Joe Rogram, third eye, I eat mushrooms in pill form and I eat deer liver or whatever the fuck you do. And you think you're tough, but the thing is this guy came around and he made you so obedient. You were like, yes, sir, what do you believe today? And I will push that. And everything else, they don't say shit. They say nothing. Everything else, they can't say. Because they don't know what he thinks. And they don't want to cross the line. That's every politician is a spineless fucking coward right now. Because it's very easy to be like, oh, Epstein survivors, the biggest known trafficking ring in the history of, never mind this country, but the earth. Yeah, let's hold those motherfuckers accountable. I don't care if it's Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, I don't give a crap who it is. Hold them all accountable. Oh, our infrastructure is going to crumble? Like I heard, who was it? Tim Pool was like, if you could release they all love to do these hypotheticals. Like, if you release the files, the stock market crashes. I'm like, who gives a shit? Let it fucking all, who cares? Do you want to be tough on crime or do you want to care about capital? I mean, it's so obvious how see-through these fucking vapid punks are that they're just mouthpieces, you know, for whatever this turd has to say today. Because Jack Clancy, keep speaking facts. Thank you, Jack Clancy. Is that what is your avatar? Thank you for the super chat, $7.99. And share this. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this, folks. Share this message. You preach it. I plant the seed, you go preach it to other people. Because that's what this is. Trump supporters are wolves dressed as sheep. But the thing is they're not even wolves. I respect wolves. You know, I do not respect these people. These people, if you want to know where you were in history, you know, the people that go, oh, I wish they would protest the right way. You would have told my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather and all the other motherfuckers throwing tea into the harbor like, you shouldn't be destroying the king's capital. Like, you were pathetic fucking, not even sheep, because sheep give us wool and wool is cool. You're contributing nothing, but there's hope for you. You're not this turd. This turd knows he's not getting into heaven. Why do you think he's talking about it? Why do you think he's like, I'm low on the heaven totem pole? Satan is watching. He's cheering me on right now. There's hope for you. You can say, I've been duped. I was a single issue voter. I ignored the Epstein stuff. I ignored this, but you're right. Like, if he cared about workers, he'd just be jamming through worker agenda. I wouldn't have to earn sick time at my work. You know, I would have more rights at work. I would have guaranteed vacation like they do in Europe. All these things. Watch Where to Invade Next by Michael Moore. He goes to Europe to invade and take the best things from them. Like I always say, like we should be stealing ideas from other countries. Who has the best healthcare? How do they do it? What's wrong? Let's steal that and implement it here. But we're not doing that. Why? Because some people thought this guy like cared about them, which he clearly doesn't, you know? Yeah, Sophie A. But what about Biden? And that's what I mean. I've been doing this live stream for a year and a half now. And all I hear is, what about Biden? Oh, so you think Kamala would be better? Trump is the GOAT, Trump 2028. It's on fucking repeat. You know, that's it. Why? Because dear Chicken Supreme Leader, if he changes his mind tomorrow, they don't know what to push for. Have worked on Alzheimer's units. Well, Lisa Marks, you know, my theory, we're going to listen to him, but my theory is he has, if you've ever wondered, what if somebody with ADD got dementia? Now, I am not a doctor yet, but I've unofficially diagnosed him with ADDementia. It's a rare known condition had by stupid people who like to hear themselves speak all the time. Not caring if it makes sense or not, but just to speak. Because, you know, he's daddy's little boy. And with that much money, how could he be wrong? Some of these people literally say that. They're like, well, how could he be so rich? I don't know. You never thought of, like, rich parents? Are you unaware that last week I talked about that more billionaires this year were made because of inheritance than creating their wealth? Pay attention, folks. Come on. We need you to be snappy because we got to save this fucking country. When the people say, take the country back, I'm like, from who? From him? Him, his rich Nepo baby and elite CEO billionaire friends own the country. I've been laid off before. It was not by an illegal immigrant. I hate to break it to you. The massive layoffs that are happening, the unemployment, it's not happening because an illegal immigrant magically crossed the border, took over the company and was like, all right, let's lay everybody off. Look, you fucking dummies. I need you paying attention. You got to pay attention in life. You got to. Ronnie Grass, I'm listening. Who is this left-wing awesome person? Thank you, MT. You could go to a different live stream, though, because, again, the whole left, right, own the libs, dunk on them, that's his propaganda garbage for you to not pay attention that he is absolutely devastating your economy, my economy, our egg prices, the price of chips, Jesus Christ, and all of that. He's making it harder to live, not easier. He's not guaranteeing paid vacations, which these corporations can absolutely afford it. What Starbucks workers are fighting for would be 1 day of profits. There's 364 other days of the year, and this corporation won't even budge for that. So he's not like helping them. We've gone over all this. Maybe you're new to Earth. Newsmax sued Fox Entertainment. Yes, Timothy, thank you. I read that. I didn't want to bring it up today because there's so much to go over. So let's listen. Yesterday, we were all wondering, Where is he? Are we going to be on the long watch? I feel like we're going to support the king in the north for the long watch. And we're going to have to sit on the tower and wait for this dude's hand to rot out until it becomes a White Walker. We're on the long watch, folks, because yesterday they had to hold a special 2 p.m. press conference, which he was very late to. And ironically, when he was asked about... Oh, hold on. Hey. When he was asked if he had heard the rumors that he had croaked, he said, oh, no. Well, he was lying, you know. And I wonder what that feels like, to know that thousands of people are just waiting to celebrate. Most celebrated shuffling loose of this mortal coil ever. But here's some of his press conference when he finally showed up, all painted up, covered his hand, neck knots on full display. Look at it looks like a butt. It literally looks like he's mooning us. I gotta zoom in on that. And welcome. If you're new here, I'm Rob. I do a live stream every single weekday. And I would encourage you to join the community, join the family. There's a lot of folks that come back and we talk about the news. We joke about the news because the news is a joke. There's a lot of jokes right now. And not always joke like, haha, funny, like jokes on us kind of stuff. So I bring you the meme news. We do the Have You Even Said Thank You segment. There's a lot of fun stuff, and I'm here every single weekday providing that to you. So you pop in your earphones, relax, grab a cup of tea. Whenever I take a sip, I always like to cheers Jeff Bezos because he got married in Venice. He rented the whole city. And this is his second marriage, so I say, here's to his second messy divorce, Jeff. So I encourage you, because I know 125% of you are not subscribed while you're watching. I see the stats. I read the stats, and it turns out 215% of you are not subscribed. And I don't know why 379 right now, all 323. That number just moved, conspiracy. All 300 of you, because it's going to fluctuate. Hit subscribe. Let's get me over 5,000 people. Okay? Once we hit 5,000, I'm pretty sure I go right to Mr. Beast level. And we got to get that guy off YouTube. He's just bad for our health. You know, he is unoriginal. He's just a walking, talking AI human form. So I need all 300 of you. Hit subscribe. Then hit the notification bell. You'll get notified. You come on back. I'm Sub, just a guy. I'm smelling what you're cooking. I love it. Smell what I'm cooking. Because we need, that's the thing, guys. If we all come together and we're like, no, we fucking had it. Read history, okay? Read your history. Read about the mass strikes, the people in the streets. This is ripe for things to change. If you're tired of going, I don't want to go into medical debt. I guess I just won't get sick. Then hit subscribe. Let's fucking change this, you know? Like my son was like, why are the weekends only 2 days? And I was like, I don't know, it's stupid. By now, 100 years ago, they thought we'd only be working 3 days a week. That's in books. You can read about it. The robber barons were like, technology is going to be so great, they're only going to work 3 days a week. And some of you were like, no, I should be working 7. I like to grind. And I'm like, your family fucking hates you. Oh. But guys, we can do that. We could collectively be like, how come Congress gets a recess for the summer? They just came back. And we don't, you know? I'm for everyone getting a recess. And if you're not, and you're one of those softy fascists that's like, no, we should work every day. It's like, fuck you. You can. If you still want to work 7 days a week to get away from your family because they probably don't like you, we're not stopping you from that. But we're saying the rest of us want to enjoy this beautiful earth until old Captain Mars Tesla nuts ruins it by exploding spaceships over the ocean telling you that he's going to Mars, even though why would you want to live on Mars? You know, it's a dusty rock where human bodies can't survive. Like they'd have to live underground. If you went to Mars, you'd have to bury in the ground to just survive. Like, and one day I believe is like, 400 years here or some crazy shit like that. Like we can't even survive there. And some people are like, yeah, give them our tax money to blow up rockets. Ugh. So, GW Choppers, sitting behind a cameras are going to fix anything. I love these people. And subscribing to somebody who clearly has awesomeness on his mind all the time. GW Choppers, here's this thing. Number one, take that Bruins logo off your thing. The Bruins will fucking like you. Okay? Number one, Rage Against the Machine. Every band you listen to thinks you're a fucking loser. But number two, you know I do other stuff, right? But here's the thing. If it doesn't work, why is Trump always in front of a fucking microphone? Okay? This is propaganda for the people, convincing people you are worth more. That's the craziest part. This guy was like, you're a loser and you better follow me so you can not be a loser and you'll be winning. And people were like, yes, sir. And I'm here like, bro, GW Trump, Chompers, all these people hate you right now because you're shitty takes. But they could love you. There's hope for you, you know? You just got to start valuing life over capital. And I mean that. Like, you can just go put on Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror, go sit in the bathroom, stare in the mirror, listen to the whole song, and go, shit, you're right. It starts with me and my attitude. And stop wanting people to suffer and kids go hungry in my country. TTV Berserker. Love it. I'm new here, like most probably. Did you talk like this with the previous president or presidents? I was just wondering to understand your baseline. $5. Thank you for that. And yes, thank you for being new. I hope you hit subscribe. I'll say it again. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. They've turned politics into the Super Bowl. And they've turned campaigning into an all year long thing. Donald Trump campaigned every year. You know, so I'm not for it. What I do try to teach people is the politicians use us as useful idiots, right? They promise you a bunch of stuff to get your vote, and they get into power, and they do stuff like he does. Where he's like, I'm giving me and my friends tax cuts, and we're going to raise yours. And we need to treat them like useful idiots. So, like, I don't like Gavin Newsom because, you know, he platformed Steve Bannon. Horrible human. But right now he's on fire, spitting fire tweets at Trump. So use him as a useful idiot. You know, escalate his stuff because it's getting attention. And we got to use these people like they've been using us. And you need to play the system. But the long-term goal is for the people to have some power. Ranked choice voting. You know, a bunch of radical stuff that, again, that's why they warn you about the radical left. The radical left wants no medical debt and for everybody to be able to buy a home. Holy Christ, they want neighborhoods and healthy people? What the fuck? We gotta stop these people. We gotta make people scared of them. So I am neither. And we got a lot of work to do, but it starts with asking questions like that. Thank you, TTV Berserker. All right, we gotta listen to this Trump stuff. See, now you got me listening. All right. You keep that Bruins logo in there. Look at that. See, we're winning the hearts and minds. Listen, Fred Hampton talked about, do you know who Fred Hampton is? Anybody? Please tell me somebody knows who Fred Hampton is in the chat. Please. I'll wait for the answer. I need someone to know who Fred Hampton is. And not the mods. I love you guys, but I know you know. Oop Horror said, yes. R.I.P. Okay. So people know who Fred Hampton is. Okay? This is very, very important. And you can find these clips. I didn't have them ready. Oh, shit. Where'd it go? That's not it. Here it is. Fred Hampton started the Rainbow Coalition. Fred Hampton Jr., his link to his YouTube page, his son. I put a link to his YouTube page because I believe in him. He live streams too. Fred Hampton talked about education. The most important thing. Because once you educate people, once they start seeing through the lies, seeing through the bullshit, that's why Joe Rogan is such a spineless coward, his Joe Graham. Because he went from questioning everything to having government officials in and banking officials and billionaires in and Mark Zuckerberg's in to tell you, like, they're just cool guys. They're just like you. They have cool, you know, Bruno Mars hair and they dress like, you know, Dominicans just like you. You know, they're like fresh and memeing. You know, they get the riz. And the thing is we've decimated education. You know, people want to talk about banning books. And Fred always talked about education being the most important thing. That is the basis, because he said, you don't want to, like Jay-Z, have someone just become the next best capitalist. That's not what we're looking for, because capital, I try to teach people this too. I try to plant the seeds. That capital, folks, is its only mission. These companies, they're not here to be your friend. It went from the customer's always right to we value our employees to it's only about the shareholders and Wall Street's expectations. Go on their earnings calls. I have. They only care about meeting Wall Street's expectations. And that is continually growing their profit in a closed system. In science, they call it cancer. But this is so important because once we get people to start seeing that there's a better way possible, we can create that way. I got some mind-blowing shit for you guys. America like wasn't a thing 400 years ago, and we just like created it. And we could do that shit again. We could be like 4-day weekend. But we all have to agree. And some of you guys, I don't know if it's your ego or wanting to shit on people, or there are some bad people out there. They're not always sending their best. And some of them just want human suffering. But I'm talking to the rest of you. People who are like, all right, I've been duped. You know, this blue-red thing, it's a Super Bowl every year, and none of it works for me, and it keeps progressively getting more status quo-ier with higher grocery prices. Like, we can reject all that shit, but we have to do it together. We're only strong when we're together. That's why we're the 99%. There's more of us. And I'm working hard to just bring this information. Sometimes I feel repetitive because every day there's new people and I'm trying to teach these people this. But please share this, hit subscribe. I know there's 300% of you that are watching this not subscribed. Remember, I'm only saying that because remember when Donald Trump was like, we're going to drop pharmacy medication prices 1,500%. It's like, so they're going to pay us to take medicine? Like, this guy is saying that shit to you, and because we're not educated, you're like, that sounds good. 1,500% off. Like, that's not a thing. After 100, they're technically giving you money. So it's just so important. And I joke all the time. You know, I joke all the time. Let's look at this Dennis the Menace looking motherfucker. Sean the Greatest, good to see you. Ever go out to a bar counting her absolute ass hat? Last 80 years have taught me that that asshole was always MAGA. And listen, some of them, like, they think, that's the other problem. Like, they think being a jerk makes them tough. And they don't realize it makes them a coward, you know? Being a jerk, when I see people just being a jerk because they got offended, number one, I go, wow, you must be very fragile if you're offended at that. You know, like, the toughest people I've seen stay cool, calm, collected. In fact, it's almost scary at how chill they are, you know? The loud jerks are usually like, what they're saying is, think about nature. When an animal starts getting loud, they feel threatened, right? And that's how I see it. And I hope you do too. When this guy starts barking, you know, and he's like, wow, if you release those files, that's a hostile threat, an act of war. I don't hear a tough guy. I hear, holy shit, what is he scared of? What is in those files? You don't act like that. Nature don't act like that if you ain't scared. You ever go see a dog and it's just quiet? You think it's scared? No. But if that dog starts barking at you, you go, oh, it don't feel right. This is just basic shit. We really need to educate people. This is a call for the uprising. Okay. Anarchy is what you call democracy when you don't like it. I love all these like troll accounts in here. It's good to see the Albanian troll farms have made it. Hit subscribe. Help boost my numbers. Because again, 351% of you are not subscribed while you're watching. And that should be illegal. I'm surprised Mr. Beast hasn't made it illegal yet. Isn't he like the YouTube in chief? Let's listen to Donald Trump. I promised you that he said he was alive. And guys, I put on my AI detecting glasses, my deepfake glasses, and turns out it was him. I could tell from the Dennis the Menace bald spot. Let's listen.
As chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the president held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command.
Yeah.
If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political. Even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong and saying he's...
Oh, here it comes. I appreciate him. He's just the strongest. Look at him. Don't look at his hand, though. But look at him. Strong.
Going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs. That's Huntsville, Alabama.
That's how it's going to go. Go, Alabama. Go, Warthogs. Here he comes. Are you ready? I'm going to slow it back down. Let's go to 1, One times.
So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone
Ooh, sound a little rough, but he always does.
now. You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading.
I saw that. I saw the photo of it, and it was a drone that shot out a boat that, I don't know how you detect drugs from a drone. Maybe it's a drug sniffing drone. But there's an article down below that I linked. I'm not going to bring it up, but it goes over how somebody claimed that the drone footage was AI and fake. Again, I put on my glasses. They're not always reliable, but it looked pretty real. I should sell those. AI. Any Gary V fans in here will certainly buy those. Well, actually, the MAGA. If I said these are Trump made in China, AI detecting deepfake detecting drones, make Alabama smart for once. I'm sure you'd buy it. You bought a Bible with the Constitution in it or whatever, the old separation of church and state Bible. But the BBC did an article about this drone strike and the legality of it. So the president's on here talking about, not confirming, because they didn't stop the boat. They didn't pull the boat over. He didn't say it's a drug-sniffing drone, but just, murking people from a drone just because he said it was drugs. That's your guy. That's your guy. That's your guy. So let's go to a different part where they ask him about the rumors.
Over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead?
That you were dead. Look at his face. He's like, these bastards. I have one little ADDementia stroke, and they're all wishing for me to go. That's so... Nobody in the world. I mean, this is a unique moment on Earth where you could just say, is he gone? Did it happen? And everybody knows. Everybody's like, oh, did it? I'm calling in sick. I'm using my earned sick time to celebrate.
You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple.
He goes, you see that? He goes, no. Look, a scared look at his face. Like, yeah, no. People were like, yo, is that guy gone or what? I got the champagne that has been waiting.
There's 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning.
1.3 million user engagements, hoping that this dude fucking kicked the bucket.
About your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences.
We're not talking about last week. We're talking about the weekend, buddy.
These are all successful. They went very well. This is
what I mean. This is ADDementia. ADDementia. It's like, they asked if you heard about the rumor, the social media viral thing. Like, did he shovel loose this mortal coil? And he's like, last week I did a lot of news engagements. Is that an answer?
It's going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him.
Yeah, because you understand you're always in front of a camera, always tweeting mean tweets. You're like Lindsay Lohan and Mean Girls. You're like, Chicago said they don't like me. I'm sending the military. I saw a homeless guy on my way to golf in D.C. Sending the military. Because people who are pretty tough usually send other soldiers to war for them.
Biden wouldn't do him for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him.
No, actually, MAGA the whole time was like, old Joe Biden, senile. Like, they said it all the time. We could not stop hearing about it. In fact, the funny part was they were calling him old while they were like, we need our guy who's older to be in charge.
We know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports.
So originally he said, no, I didn't hear it. And now he's saying, yeah, I heard that. Guys, I encourage you, just open your ears and just listen to what he says. He can't not lie in the same fucking answer. They're like, did you hear that? He's like, no, I did a lot of news engagements last week. Yeah, I did hear that. It has not been interrupted. This is ADDementia. This is dementia, ADD multiply. It's the new collab, all right? The new collab is ADD dementia, and I'm not a doctor, but Jesus Christ, how did he go from no, I hadn't heard that? Yeah, I had heard that.
Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors.
What is he talking about? Dude, this is, you understand, like, he represents our country. So, like, other countries are watching this going, is the translation off? Is the translation off on this thing? Did he say, no, I didn't hear that? Yeah, I heard that. And then instead of answering, like, yeah, who cares? The internet's going to do the internet thing. He's like, what the fuck is going on? This is such an embarrassment.
I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, so I think pretty...
I love that he calls it truth. I did a number of truths, a couple of dares. Old Kushner dared me if I wouldn't. And you know, when you double dog dare, you have to do the double dog dare.
Poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also...
He didn't do any poignant truths, and that's why the rumor happened. But I guess he had heard it, and he was very active.
I went out to visit some people at the club that I own.
Shameless plug. I'm going to visit some people at the club I own.
Pretty nearby on the Potomac River.
Thanks. We just paid for that trip. Oh, your security detail that had rent rooms from you? Yeah, that was our money.
And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I did.
So active. Let me show you this screenshot of him being so active. He's the most active. I'm surprised somebody didn't say that. Sir, you were the most active this weekend. So active. Nobody's been more active. In fact, you were the most active this weekend, sir. I've never seen more activity out of anyone in my life. It was so active. Here's a photo from over the weekend. Look at that. Look at how active that is. No red hat. He's got the white surrender, USA. Somebody in the chat yesterday said it's a MAGA hat. And I said, no. He's abandoned MAGA, and he's putting on a white USA surrender. Don't you know it's disrespectful? Don't you know you don't wear a white USA hat? What is he saying? Surrender, white flag, USA? Oh yeah, that's active over the weekend. Looks like he got his neck nuts touched up. You've heard of truck nuts. These are neck nuts. Remember everybody used to wear the pun on their hair in solidarity? They're all going to be getting neck nut implants. A couple of boobies on their throat.
Didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff.
Oh, wait. So now he went from didn't hear it to, yeah, I heard that, to didn't hear that one. Pretty serious stuff. Guys, if you're MAGA, let me just talk to you privately for a second. Everybody else that like has their head on their shoulders, you get free time. You get free study. Free period. Choose what you want. MAGA, I got to talk to you. In one answer, uninterrupted, he went from didn't hear it to, oh, yeah, I heard that, to no, didn't hear that one. Pretty serious stuff. I need you to understand something. He's just saying whatever. This is, I don't know, it's dementia, ADD, a mix of both. The new super collab, you're going to see all the old folks doing it. Like, yo, I got ADD dementia too. Oh, shit, hold on. What are you doing? Hold on, look at this little guy. What are you doing? Yeah. All the cats love me. They're all trying to come. Oh, I got some ahs. Lauren, Joanne. Oh, you got to hit subscribe if you said ah. If you like cats or dogs or animals or people, just humans in general, hit subscribe. I know 400% of you are watching, not subscribed. The little kitty found its way to me. Cutie. What a little cutie. Here, I'm going to do the rest with this little cutie. This is Smug Cat. You might have heard of Grumpy Cat. This is Smug Cat. Money has nothing to do. I'm not reading the comments, so I missed whatever, but it's not about what you make. Please stop. Human life has no value. Stop trying to be like, well, if you don't make money, then we shouldn't listen to you. Stop. This is why I got to talk to MAGA. He's lying. In one answer, 3 different times. Please, get your head on your shoulders. We can make this country better, but we need your help, We've seen how blindly loyal you are to somebody who will lie right to your face a bunch of times in one answer. We need your help. TTV Berserker, $10. Thank you for the super chat. Both sides blame each other to distract. Shit's bad for 8 to 10 years. Then when an intolerant level is hit by the people, whichever side gets elected does good for 4 to 6 years. Meanwhile, both sides over. I hate to disagree with you, but where was it? I gotta show you this. It's not both sides. Like, and I'm not a Democrat, but 10 out of the last 11 recessions started under Republican administration. Like, we only have 2 parties. There's no third parties. There's no ranked voting, and they will establish themselves and defend it at all costs because they get wealthy. But the thing is, folks, we have Republicans and diet Republicans or Republican light. There is no left. If we voted all blue tomorrow and we got all blue in there, they're not giving us universal health care because their corporate donors, profit too much off of our illness. And this is what I'm trying to say. We need to come together. We need to deprogram some of these people and get them out of this mindset of like, I know he lied to me 3 times, but like, he's just really strong. Well, it's one thing to say you're an animal lover, but it's quite another to say you're a cat lover. I love my kitty cats. I love my kitty cats. Right. They place the tariffs on us, yep. But this, again, it's Republicans and Republican light. And it's not working for anybody. Guys, I've been alive in America for a long time. And it's progressively gotten worse. Back in the 80s and 90s, there were people buying homes, families working one job, buying homes. That's not a thing anymore. Go look up, I used to have the chart. I'm not going to find it now, but the homeowner, first-time homeowner age went from like 20-something to 30-something to now it's like at 38. It's getting worse under all of the the blue and red. Take the blue and red thing off. You guys are going to blue and red yourself to death. They're not working for us. If we vote all blue, they're not giving us universal health care. They're not. The big pharma donors and the CEOs of healthcare, the people who they go, we know your doctor said you need this, but our AI says it's unnecessary. I went over it yesterday, watched the whole live stream. Somebody's talking about standing up to the wigs and one. I'm missing stuff in the comments, but I need you guys to understand. And for the people who might say stuff like, well, I'm doing fine. Guys, are you really doing fine if the rest of the nation is suffering, if kids are going hungry, when we have more than enough food to go around, when we have more than enough houses, when it should be affordable, when at one point a person could work one job, not 3, not 2, one job and buy a house? Like, what people don't understand is you go, I want them to send the military to make it more expensive and not solve the problem to get the homeless people in jail. Once they're all gone, what do you think he's focusing on next? He's not going to go after his corporate buddies. You just might be a little bit more high up the ladder, but you're on that fucking ladder. He's coming for you at some point. That's why Fred Hampton, some of you said you know who he was. He said, if we don't stop fascism, fascism's going to stop us all. And that was a message from the 60s. Red or blue, they don't help you. Okay, guys, I've been alive. Oh, Crash Exhibition. Sorry. The Boomers Listened to Money by Pink Floyd and thought it was a manifesto. I'm so glad Crash showed up. Appreciate you. And it's funny, I don't know who's saying brainwashed, but this is when you know they're bots or not serious people. When I'm talking about, like, in the 80s and 90s, people were working one job, college education or not, didn't matter, and they were buying houses. And we can make that happen again. And people are like, oh, what, brainwash, oh, what? Like, these defenders of the status quo are hurting America. We can, guys, collectively, again, America, like, wasn't a thing, and then people came together and were like, we should do this thing. Let's take from France and all these different ideas and let's make a smorgasbord, a melting pot, if you would say, of ideas to make a great thing. I push all the time for us to go, what's the best universal healthcare in the world? What problems do they have with it? Let's take those ideas and make them better, implement them better. But we have to all come together and say, we should do better. Life should be better. Not just for me. This is very Trumpian. Like, as long as I'm well, who gives a fuck? Jesus Christ. And I can't address this. Who's going to start a business under your economic ideology? Right, because if you just can't make infinite profits and exploit workers, why would you even want to work? Oh, God. And here's what I say to you. Fuck a dream job. Just have a dream. Life isn't meant to work. I've showed it. People don't... I've gone to graveyards. I used to do graveyard explorers, and I've never seen a gravestone that said, Employee of the Month 8 times. Fuck beloved father or brother. Employee of the Month. People don't die wishing they worked more. Get out. See, this is what I mean. You're just a bot. TTV Berserker, $5. Thanks for the super chat. I basically said the same thing. There's no sides. It's all donkey and pony show for people. So they'll argue red versus blue. Yes, 100%. Instead of coming together. 100%. Berserker, I hope you hit subscribe. And that's the thing. You know, this message needs to get out. More people need to... Gary's Economics, down below. He was a trader, and now he's talking about, you know, helping the working class. Tax wealth, not work, in England. His videos, down below, linked in the description. Fred Hampton. I need you guys to check this stuff out. I need us all to keep pushing, because we could have, like, a fucking cool country where you're like, hey, I have my guaranteed healthcare. I don't have to worry about a job or not. I just... you know, have healthcare because our taxes, billionaires' taxes pay for it. Tax billionaires out of extinction or into extinction. You know, they could be fine being 999 millionaires. They're not responsible with that money anyways. And some of them, like Bill Gates, has a foundation to give it all away. Warren Buffett, they're trying to promise to give it all away. It's like, how about you just use it as taxes to fund our healthcare so we don't have people dying and losing their home because of medical debt? We can do this, guys. I truly believe it. But it's going to take more than... you know, us. And you have to subscribe. 350% of you are watching this and not subscribed. And that's unacceptable. Mr. Beast is a horrible person. I just wanted to say that. All right, guys. Thank you for the super chat, TTTV Berserker. Appreciate you guys. Did I have some more stuff to go over? Yeah, the Epstein files. Listen, I linked down below the survivors' stories, their press conferences, their interviews. I'll link the Donald Trump thing so you can see him, his ADD dementia all over the place. Watch these survivors. They're trying to push, they're trying to get Republicans to vote to release more than the stuff they already released and not redacted protecting the predators, but protecting the victims. And Donald Trump, linked down below to the article in New Republic, said that will be seen as a hostile act. The guy who went from, yeah, release the files to, if you vote to make me release the files, that's an act of war. Guys, don't you get it? This is not me. This is the bottom line, right? With Roblox, with all this different stuff right now happening. Like, these people are not safe for our communities, and they're trying to protect the predators. Okay? It's just that basic. My God. Oh my Jesus. P. Norton, are you a serious person? What do you think is more, or I can't tell, sorry, I get trolled all the time. But you say, what do you think is more pressing? Transgenders competing against women for getting homeless people to help they need? What the fuck? Don't be transphobic. Transgender anything is not a fucking deal in America. I talked about this the other day. Go watch The Mighty Ducks and then D2, Mighty Ducks 2. We solved men and women in sports in the 90s. Guess what? In the Mighty Ducks, there's girls on the team. And they play against all boys. And nobody was freaking out. I didn't watch that and have parents like, what does Disney try to do? Indoctrinate my kid? Like, you guys are fucking soft if you're worried about that and not that we have homeless people, families, kids going hungry. 1 in 5 kids in America food insecure. And you guys know that because you voted for egg. Stop being transphobic. Stop. And most of these people that are don't even know anybody who's trans. I got a lot of friends and I love them. And their rights shouldn't be impeded and they shouldn't be fucking even an issue. Why do people, like, you hear what you're, like, there's homeless people and you're like, there's trans people existing. That doesn't make the economy better. It's trigger words to make you fragile ego people to freak the fuck out and be like, yeah, that's the pressing issue right now. Duplicate jury duty for all political seats. No, P. Norton, I answered your question. And just your question being in the same sentence as homelessness shows me you're not a serious person and you're transphobic. Because whether or not anybody competes in any sports like they did in Mighty Ducks back in the 90s and it wasn't an issue, you're just soft and fragile and your ego's affected or you're scared or whatever, it was never an issue. And these politicians sold it to you like, hey, if we clean up that issue, guess what? You know, the economy won't be bad. You'll buy a home. It's like they don't even relate. So it's just your fears projecting as like, well, that's a pressing issue, but it's not. It's not. It's just not. And you probably don't know any trans people, so it, you know, it's even worse that you're just like scared of something you don't know anything about, that you've seen on the news. You're like Joe Rogan. Like, I've seen on the internet, it must be real. There's no trickery on there. So please don't be, you know, don't hate, don't pride yourself as someone who believes in freedom and then want to restrict who people can be, you know. That ain't freedom. If you believe in freedom, let people be who the fuck they want to be. And if they're going to compete in other sports, be like, oh, yeah, I remember that in the 90s. Girls were on the boys' team and nobody fucking had a hissy fit and brought it up like it was a pressing issue, like Emilio Estevez. What's his name? Emilio Estevez. Like, what are you doing, them girls on your junior Olympic team, letting them play against the boys? Like, who cares? Jesus. Healthcare and homelessness are emergencies right now. Right now. And I don't get it. When people call you Antifa, that means anti-fascist. My grandfather, I have his flag right over there. He was Antifa. He fought in World War II for America, just so you know what side you're on. And woke just means, yeah, you recognize that these systemic systems that are trying to fight to keep the status quo want you to think, oh, you know what? Let me just show it. Let me just show it. There you go. We have to make a children's book for you because, you know, it's dumb. All right, guys. Antifa forevermore. Solidarity. CJ, Tim, Bandito, Solus, Crash, Sean the Greatish. I seen sneak in here. Berserker. Appreciate you and your comments and the super chats. Much love. And that's the end of the day, guys. Really, like, this stuff don't affect you. You know? Or what are you playing at an Olympic level of sports and concerned? You know what I mean? Like, it has no impact on you. And for the bathroom thing, I'm like, do you guys not know we've had family bathrooms forever? Like, it's such a petty, dumb, it's just a dumb issue, you know? This is why I say we need free education, better education, invest in education. Come on, folks, we can do this, but we have to work together. We have to. Take the red hat off, both wings of the same bird. It's for the people, we the people. You know, if you're taking your marching orders from a billionaire, double hundred millionaire like Joe Rogan, or Peter Palantir, or Nepo baby Donald Trump, or Elon Musk, you know, all these vengeful, spiteful, bullied people who had too much money and now they just want to exact revenge, stop, you know. I want our neighborhoods to be filled with people who don't have medical debt, who if they don't have a job, they don't have to worry about healthcare. They can still, you know, heal from illness. Science and healthcare isn't like a thing corporations invented. Humanity collectively, you know, work towards that. So really, folks, thank you. We could do this. I believe it. And if not, you know what? Just be here for the downfall. The empire is going to fall. It is falling. You know, he can't live forever. That's just, hey, that's not me. That's God. Take that up with God. You know, when I was younger, I used to love yelling, we're going to live forever. You know, it's fun to say, folks, but we all got to face that. You can't live forever. And when that happens, who's going to be your daddy? You know, hopefully you go, oh, I wake up, the spell. Hopefully the spell is broken. Where are all my witches at? You know? You guys working on them spells, casting them spells? We need you. We need you. So, you know, at least if If you guys are going to keep fighting to work 7 days a week and have rich people get richer while they rent out cities and we all ask about egg prices, then hit subscribe and we'll make fun of it. We'll make fun of them for being bootlickers, for the people who are pretending to go to space. P. Norton, I commend you and your mods for not banning me, but I'd love to continue our conversation. It's our, O-U-R, not R-A-R-E. Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that, because I'll tell you what, some people get muted, they don't get banned. Well, I hope the mods, you're not banning, right? You're putting them in timeout. We put people in 24-hour timeout. Have them come back tomorrow if their brain is broken. They keep just saying the same thing. But I love these conversations. We need to have these conversations, And remember, I'm from Massachusetts. I'm a masshole, so I'm going to be sarcastic. I never get it when the F your feelings people, I'm not saying you're one of them, but the F your feelings people are being like, well, you're not very nice. It's like, I thought your whole thing was F your feelings. And I'm a little brash and, confrontative, and you're like, wow, that's not very nice. And turns out I don't like the F your feelings. But we need to have these conversations. The dialogue is important. So I appreciate you. No family bathrooms, not a thing 10 years ago. Look it up, dude. Well, as somebody who has kids that are over the age of 10, they were. I don't know how to tell you that, like, I don't have to look up something I lived through. Jesus Christ. This is what I mean. Like, if you don't be a Joe Rogan, don't be like, I saw it on the internet, guys. And the internet isn't going to trick me. Like, I'm telling you, I have kids that are over 10, and we used family restrooms when they were little. But I guess because you didn't see it on the internet, that's not real. Again, this is what we need to dispel, like this bullshit, because the internet has just made some people vulnerable. And it's okay. It's okay. Oh, and KRAR, good to see you. Yeah, and why do you hate American values? I don't know what we're talking about, but I'm just going to jump on that boat. Not liberal here. We're leftists. We believe in worker power, socialism, unions, organizing, ending billionaires, freeing Luigi, all the cool stuff, all the cool kids, all the kids with Riz, not old neck nuts, not this guy, Oh, I'm sorry. You think this is cool? Yeah, I forgot. Some people think this is cool. They're like, oh yeah, I gotta get that poster. I just gotta cut out his body and put Rambo's body on it, and that will be cool. You creeps. You absolute creeps. Boston is Alma's here. What's up, Alma? Boston is a city, not a state. That is true. I remember Alma, you'll like this. When I was in California, somebody argued with me. They were like, I know New York's in New England. And I was like, you fucking dummy, I'm from there. They were like, no. I was like, I lived in the New England region. New York is not part of it. And they were convinced. But, some people, that's why they like Trump, because he's a confident moron. And as long as you're confident, some people will they'll be like, yup, that's it. He's so confident. I've fallen for it before. I'll tell you that story tomorrow. But we got to break the spell. We got to break the spell. Okay, people? I know. Thank you. All right. So, again, 500% of you watch this and don't subscribe. I'm asking you to subscribe. Share it with a friend. I'm here every single day doing live streams. Okay? Or every weekday. Sometimes on weekends. But don't tell anybody. Don't tell the MAGAs. It's just those cool kids. All the Rizmas. So he's kissing his daughter's head. That's not a kiss, my friend. Or not my friend. That looks like he's sticking his tongue in there. But yeah, let's have you explain them all away. Again, another photo of his daughter creepily on a bed while he's calling, I don't know, we can only theorize. So I'm saying Jeffrey Epstein, and he's having his daughter kiss him there. I mean, it's just a lot of creep stuff. And if you've known the words that came out of his mouth about his daughter, you might agree. Nobody's subscribing. All right, prove Randy wrong. The funny thing is Randy, you're here quite a bit, like more than a dozen times. How do you know when I'm live? Or are you just constantly on the internet? Are you like the Jograms, the Third Eye Rograms? Are you like the Joganites, the Rojogans, where you're just always on the internet? How do you know when I'm live, Randy? Prove Randy wrong. Everybody, 400 people. Let's crack 5,000 subs tonight. All right? Randy, you're here a lot, buddy. And it's okay. You know, you're like, please, somebody break me of this. You're begging. You're like, I'm going to say all the stupid stuff I can in the comments so he could just, you know, point out how dumb everything I say is. Yeah, Scoots. These pictures that are all over the internet that I bring on here so you freaking PDF file protectors, the guardians of the PDFs, you know, can understand when you go, oh, he's so cool. I can pull up these pictures. Because you guys, the weird thing is you guys like to have photos of Donald Trump with another guy's body. Talk about gender affirming, right? There's nothing more gender affirming than having your head on another guy's body. And that's what Donald Trump does. And you guys buy those. Like, listen, if you're gay, I'm all for it. I support all the gay community. I love you. You guys are valid. I'll protect your rights. I'll stand next to you. Solidarity. And if you're, you know, don't know, but you are, then I support that. But you can't tell me buying a t-shirt, a poster of a dude with Donald Trump's head and a buff dude's body on it isn't like wicked gay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, if someone showed up with a poster of Donald Trump's head on another guy's ripped Rambo body, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, you're gay. Awesome. Congrats, man. I support your, you know, right to marry whoever you want. So I bring those pictures up because you guys somehow think Donald Trump has a Rambo body and you like sell merch and buy merch with it. And I'm like, no. This is the fat turd right here where he's like obsessed with having his daughter obsess over him. Margiolaticulous. I can't even say that. Oh, all right, guys. And don't you ever talk bad about Luigi. You do not believe in America. And you are anti-American. Innocent till proven guilty. Free Luigi. He's a hero. He is a saint. Saint Luigi, it's on my social media, pinned. That's the only thing I've ever pinned. I might have pinned something else. With Saint Luigi, he saved millions, innocent till proven guilty. He saved millions from having time restrictions on their anesthesia. It was rolled back that week. Remember the 4th of December. I'll never forget. So don't be anti-American, Ann. All right, guys. KRAR, CJ, Sean, Crash, Bandito, Timothy, Solus, Chief. If Chief is here, Alma. Never forget, Crash. And you know who Ann is? Ann's probably that lady at the McDonald's that ratted on him and didn't get the reward money, and now she's bitter. She's in here pushing propaganda. You're not for the American dream. You're for the American nightmare. You're just a propagator of the status quo, and not enough people in your life, IRL, tell you that. All right, guys. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you. Good. Oh, just the guys here. Some of my favorites. I love the community we're building, and we're still building it. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Much love to you guys. Much love to you guys. Remember, America is great because you could make it what you wanted, we the people. Now it's just like Palantir and Donald Trump doing whatever they want. They're like, we don't care about the courts. So remember, we can come together and reject this. Resist. Revolution. We need a new revolution, baby. All right, guys. Much love. Have a good night. Hit the notification bell after you subscribe. All right? Because I'll be back tomorrow.